Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to day 7. We have people tuning in from various platforms. Excited to have you on here. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time here on the West Coast, and just very excited to jump into day 7. Now, how are you guys doing so far? How are you doing so far on the topic of stewardship? What is coming up for you? Like, what have you discovered? Maybe what's been highlighted to you? What are you learning, if anything? For those that have been joining me live, so grateful to have you while we're live during these conversations. I know it can be early in the morning. During the week, we're live at 7 a.m. Pacific. On the weekends, 8 a.m. Pacific. Maybe right now, at this point in time, you are getting ready to go to church. Maybe you're just waking up on this Sunday morning. Who knows? But I'm excited to dive into day 7, talking about stewarding your relationships. Buckle up, because everything we do hinges on the relationships we have, and sometimes that we don't have in our life. Everything hinges on relationships. Think about it this way. When it comes to relationships, if you have good relationships, you are generally going to be a more productive and happy person because things are flowing well, things are going well, right? Good relationships can produce great fruit. So you have to be careful with the people you allow to speak into your life and the people you have around you. You may have heard this phrase before, this may be new to you, but if you hang around 5 people, depending on what those 5 people are about, how they talk, what they do, you'll become the 6th. So when you take that in consideration, like, what kind of people are you hanging around? What kind of people are you allowing to pour into your life? And are you being true to yourself, or are you just morphing into everybody else? So there is that. But if you have good relationships, you'll produce great fruit. If you have toxic relationships, there's toxicity in there. Toxicity like breeds, and it breeds like almost like a cancer, right? Like it just like infects everything. So toxic relationships are literally like they are dream killers. They are mood ruiners. Like it is, we want to steer clear of those. And maybe some of the relationships in your life need mending. Maybe they're not 100% right now. Maybe there's some fixing, some healing, some adjusting, sacrificing, you name it, that needs to happen. And we get to take responsibility for that, because in a relationship, it's not just one person, it's 2. Or, I guess in this instance, it's 2. We're not talking about family here. So we want to be able to steward that correctly. So if you have good relationships, it's going to produce great fruit. If you have toxic ones, it's like a cancer. And if you have ones that need to be mended, understanding if you need time apart, understanding if you need healing, breakthrough, taking responsibility, all those things that most people don't want to like take that responsibility of like, okay, what am I taking responsibility for? So stewarding the relationships in our life, first you have to understand what kind of relationships do you have in your life and how are they impacting your life. I've had several moments throughout my entrepreneurship journey, and even actually, let's go back before then. I don't know if anybody else can resonate with this. Before I started my entrepreneurship journey in 2017, I always felt like there was something off. I always felt like I couldn't find my people. People didn't understand me. I just definitely had that black sheep label, like blaring. And then I was just kind of like, I shrunk down a little bit, because I was like, I don't even know what this is. And I just kind of ignored it. And it was like, brushing it under the rug, the elephant in the room, brushing the elephant under the rug. So it was like this big heaping pile, but I didn't want to address it. And I was like, where are my people? So you know what I did instead? Instead of really digging down deep, I just conformed. To be honest, I conformed a lot. I got into partying. I got into drinking a lot. I got into drugs. I got into, like premarital activities that shouldn't have been going on. I mean, come on, you can fill in the blank. Things where I was searching for things in all the wrong places. All the wrong places. Like searching for love in all the wrong places. We've talked about this in some of the days before. I was so desperate for love because I was filling in a void of I didn't love myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't truly know who my creator was. And I was just searching for this, like, come and complete me, come and complete me. I'll give you everything that I have. And I gave myself away. I slept with quite a few men. I mean, in my book, it could be big or small, depending on whose scale you're looking at. If you had a comparison scale, but regardless, I did it before marriage several times. And so that was just a broken part of me that needed healing. because I knew something was different about me. I just didn't know how to go about it. Now, can I even take you back to when I was 7 years old? I'll never forget this moment. This was a moment where I was like, okay, God, apparently there's something about big in my life that you want to do. I was raised in a Baptist church. And most Baptist churches, I can't say all because I can't speak for all, but a lot of them, it's pretty kind of stiff. And my Baptist church, it was very stiff, no relationship, just kind of check off the box of religion and like just very surface level. And I was like, ugh, like I've never been a surface level person. And if I am having to be surface level, I can only spend about a few minutes up here before we start like going down here. And if you don't want to go, then it's like, then I don't know. I don't know if I want to stick around, to be honest. Like I crave the deep. So growing up in that Baptist church, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I remember at 7 years old, I walked out of the service. I'm in the foyer and we're about ready to leave or something. And I hear this voice. And it was like this resounding voice that said, are you ready? I just felt it rumble in my spirit. And I knew it was God. I heard it. I felt it. It just rumbled. Are you ready? And I kind of looked up and I was like, I'm not ready. And I ran. And I remember booking it to a stairwell, running up the stairs and just running away, like trying to run away from this voice. Right. And you know what? So I ran away. Number one, at 7 years old, are you ready? And and I knew what he was asking. It's like, are you ready to lead? Are you ready to step into leadership? And in my mind, I'm like, I'm 7. I just want to go play. Like, what? This is crazy. So I ran away. But it was 20 years. I can't even say to the day because I don't remember the day it was, but 20 years later is when I fully was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to step into leadership. I'm ready to lead. God met me where I was, said, okay, she's not ready yet. Free will. 20 years later, I was like, okay, I'm going to step into this because I kept seeing I was always put in a leadership position. That was always something that I just had a knack for, something that I just loved and I wanted to help other people. In big ways, big vision. But the rooms I was in kept me small, kept me in a cage. I like to tell people when I was a news anchor and reporter, I remember the last desk that I had was backed in this corner. And it felt like I was like this eagle with big wings that wanted to fly, trapped in this cage in this corner of like, yeah, no, you can't fly. Maybe we'll let you out and like, just stretch a little, but no, you got to get back in there. Like no, that's too much. And for the longest time, I was told I was too much. Those are the people that were surrounding me. You're too much. We don't understand. Therefore, this is wrong. I hope somebody's hearing me because if people are speaking that into your life, like you need to walk away from those people. If they're people you love and care about, distance yourself from them until you can heal from that and understand they're just speaking from their own wounds and they're trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you. So when it comes to stewarding relationship, first and foremost, it starts with God. At least for me, it starts with God. I wake up very early in the morning to steward that time of God. It's just you and me. It's you and me. Maybe I don't want to get up this morning. Maybe I'm irritated. Maybe I'm mad. Maybe I'm joyful. Like it's you and me. We get to steward the one that created us in his image every day, not just Sunday, every day. I didn't learn that in the Baptist church. Actually, I've learned that in some churches, maybe, I don't know, or it could have been just watching other pastors online. My own revelation. I couldn't backtrack it at this point. But stewarding relationships, number one is your relationship with God. Number one. Many don't have it because they don't even know where to start. Just be like, Lord, I want you. Reveal yourself to me. Holy Spirit, show me what's next. Pray that prayer and just be open and willing. Open and willing for whatever comes next. Stewarding that relationship with God first and foremost, because when that's right, everything else follows. Some of you may be saying, you want to steward your relationship with God before yourself? Yes. Because when I'm right with him and I'm aligned with him and I want what he wants for me, my stewarding of my own self, of what I do to pour into myself, that will be so much easier. I will be able to use my time effectively and efficiently. I don't know if you're brand new, if you don't know me, those two things, being intentional, effective, and efficient, should be a love language. Huge. So stewarding that relationship with the Lord, stewarding that time that you get with him. And if you haven't done that yet, just pray this prayer. Lord, I want you. Reveal yourself to me. Holy Spirit, show me what's next. I'm here. And make yourself available. Make yourself available. Draw near to him and he'll draw near to you. A really great book, Draw Near by John Bevere. Nothing can replace the Bible. Draw Near by John Bevere is an amazing book, whether you're a believer or not. Amazing book, incredible author, really paints a great picture. Okay, number 2, stewarding your own relationship with yourself. Remember what I shared earlier? Because I didn't love myself, because I didn't steward like who Molly is and really understand that, I just kept kind of pushing it under the rug. I kept falling into all the wrong things, which created more issues. And I had to do more healing from that and a whole bunch of stuff that didn't probably need to happen in the first place. Stewarding a relationship with yourself is understanding, okay, who is Molly? Where's Molly at right now? How's she feeling right now? Why is she feeling those things? Like really digging down deep, taking the time. And I've mentioned it probably on almost every live at this point, is journaling. I'm about almost done with my journal. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need another journal. I got to go get one. Like I'm running out of pages. Really diving down deep. You can't say you don't have time to do it. Been there. You just don't want to make the time. Make the time. Get it out. Because if you don't get it out that way and really spending time with yourself to steward your relationship with yourself, it's going to spew out in all the wrong places amongst other people. I promise you that. Promise you that. So steward that time with yourself of really getting to know thyself. And this is outside of physically stewarding your body in the gym, eating the right foods, all that plays in effect. But if we do not dig down deep into our soul where we're really at with ourselves, not even being like, I need to find somebody to help me do it. You do it with yourself. And then say, Holy Spirit, show me what needs to be healed. Show me what maybe I have pushed down so far deep. Show me. And be okay with whatever comes up, because it's only going to be in your benefit. It may hurt, but it's only going to be in your benefit. Okay, stewarding relationships with loved ones. Number 1, taking the time to listen. Not just speak into them, not just give them advice, not just like, hey, let's just go do something for the sake of like, doing something. Like really taking the time to listen. How are you? How are you doing? Truthfully. Understanding their love language. How do they want to be? How do they feel loved? How do they want to be served? Because when we serve other people out of the, I love you, I want to give this to you, that fills our own cup and theirs. Double whammy. A lot of us are like, oh, I don't have time. Or I've been caught up with this before, I'll be honest. I'm like, why don't they steward our relationship like I steward it? Like, why can't they return that back to me? And I've had those moments, which I've had to really bring that to the feet of the Lord and being like, okay, like do it even though they don't. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Basic 101. I mean, we've heard that since we were like 2. Like, come on. But sometimes we get caught up. But treat people how you want to be treated. Be the one that you need. Be the one that you need. Journal that one down. What does that look like? How can you go be that to other people? How can you really listen and spend time with them and pour into them? Right? Let's take a bank account, for example. Who likes making withdrawals from a bank account? When you need something, let's withdraw, right? Well, how many of us like depositing into the bank account? Probably some of us, right? Yep, because if I can deposit, I can withdraw. If I can put in, I can take out. Relationships are like a bank account. If you do not deposit, you cannot withdraw. And a lot of people these days are trying to withdraw, even go into the negative, and there's literally nothing there. And you're expecting like $1 million withdrawal from this person, and they literally have 0 because you haven't deposited. You haven't deposited. And it could be the same with you. Maybe people haven't deposited with you and they're trying to withdraw. Be honest with them. Hey, look, I would love to be able to be here with you. And if you want to give, freely give, go for it. But sometimes there's those conversations of like, look, I need deposits before it draws. Like I'm negative here on this relationship. And it seems very one-sided. Have those tough conversations. That's also a big part of stewarding relationships. Not just letting things go because, ooh, might get awkward. Ooh, there might be confrontation. One of the things that friends and family have said about me for a long time, they're like, Molly, you just get in there. Like you love confrontation. And I used to love confrontation. I didn't care how much I rocked the boat, flipped it over, like, here's a life jacket for everybody. You're going to be fine, but we're getting in it. I've had to learn to do it more with love and compassion, but I have no problem when it comes to like confrontation. because I'm like, no, we're going to nip that in the bud. And over the years, I've really asked the Lord, show me how you see them. And that has given me so much more grace, love, and compassion for people. That's a good prayer. That's a good thought. That's a good thing to journal on. Show me how you see them. When you see them from the lens that God sees them, you will look at them differently. You will look at them differently. And then you will really know when you're acting out of your flesh and when you're acting like, okay, Lord, this is definitely from you. Definitely from you. But you have to make deposits into people. You have to make deposits. You absolutely have to, even into yourself. Like a lot of times we want to withdraw. We're not depositing. We're not giving ourselves the space, the rest, some time. We're getting caught up in what society says we need to watch, what we need to do, what we need to be, rather than, okay, what's going to be the best for me in this moment? We have to make deposits before we make withdrawals, self-included. Self-included. Many of us, here's one thing that might be a little triggering. Many of us use God like a wishing well. Okay, Lord, hey, you're there? Like, I'm going to plunk my coin, plunk my coin, plunk my coin. And then can you give me what I asked for? Can you make my wish come true? He's not a genie. Now, he is the God of miracles. He can do exceedingly and abundantly more. But just like any relationship, don't you think it would be a good idea to spend time and steward and pour into that relationship before you get asking for more, asking for more? And yes, we're needy people. And yes, he gives freely. He doesn't ask for deposits, but he wants it. He wants time with you in that relationship. And it took me like decades to really learn what that looked like. Truly looked like. Okay, and then in regards to the last kind of relationship that came up was different connections that you make, networking. So we've gone over God, self, loved ones, but connections and networking, like people that you meet in person, online. How many of us are asking for withdrawals and there's no deposits? I see it all the time in network marketing, all the time. Hey, I'm just going to friend you because I want this from you. I don't really want to deposit in you because that's kind of messy. People are messy. But hey, you want to buy my thing? What? Rather than, I love this about you. You're amazing. This looks great. Tell me more about this. Why did you do that? Like, tell me about your story. Like, genuinely want to learn about people. And if what you have fits into what they're sharing with you, that it could be a good fit, then you share. But you got to make a whole heck of a lot more deposits and withdrawals, people. For any of my business owners out there, any of my network marketers out there, too many of y'all are trying to rush the relationship, but actually there is no relationship. They smell that commission breath. They smell like, ugh, here's another one coming a mile away. But you know what people need? They want deposits. They need deposits. And when they're around somebody who's constantly depositing in them, they're like, I want to be around that person. How can I be more like this person? Subconsciously, that's what people think. Subconsciously, trust me. Trust me. I've been doing this for a very long time with people. Like, they need that. Now, I know, like, take Kingdom Alliance, for example. I know a lot of people need that. They're starving for community. They want personal professional growth that doesn't break the bank. They want to be in a community that's mission-minded people that are bigger than themselves. They want a financial opportunity. They want to lead others. They want to be better speakers, better coaches, better moms, husbands. Like, they want those things. Just so happens that we have an opportunity that is going to give that to them. Coaches want more leverage. They want more leverage. They want to be able to gain more time, be able to make more money. This provides a leverage place for them. They want those things. Now, I'm not just saying like, hey, I see you're a mom, you're a coach, or this and that. You need this. I would never do that to somebody, ever. Why? That's such a turnoff. And I've had that happen to me so many times. People don't even read my bio and they come in with a big pitch. Hey, I think you'd be great for this opportunity. I don't even know if you read my bio, but I'm a co-founder of a network marketing company. Like, I'm good, but thank you. Thank you. And I still leave them like with, I wish you the best of luck. But on the inside, I'm like, seriously, this is what gives the profession a bad name. Don't sit there and look at my bio and assume. You cannot assume. I need to be wined and dined. I need people to actually invest in the conversation. And if you're somebody that chooses to do that, connections, relationships, depth in those relationships, referrals, you'll become a master connector and your reach will go so much further. Literally an amazing business strategy, the best. And your cup gets filled and so does theirs. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. And there's no manipulation in that. That is just how people tick. That is just how people are. Point blank, period. We just have to be better at making deposits instead of always withdrawing. The reason why people, especially in business or even in network marketing, the reason why they're so quick to withdraw is because they're like, oh my gosh, what if they see who I really am? Oh my gosh, what if they said no? Oh my gosh, what if this? You're already projecting fears. And that comes off in the message of like, let me pitch you first before I get to know you. I'm like, there's so many fears behind that. And a part of me is like, if I had the time, I'd love to dig down deep with all y'all and be like, can I help you? Can I help you? Please. Because I see that you want to do this, but you're going about it all the wrong way. All the wrong way. We're actually launching something that you can teach inside of our platform at Kingdom Alliance. You can be a coach and teach it. That goes along this line of really how to really, the art of networking, being a master connector, and truly like meeting people where they're at to grow your impact and income, like truly meeting people, to lead people, not manipulate, but lead, truly lead. And I'm excited for that because so many people need that. Whew, man, and I've had a lot of experience going into that well over a decade, and it's necessary. It's so necessary now more than ever because so many people want to automate relationships instead of actually pouring in. Oh, I don't have the time. Then you don't have a business. You don't have real relationships. You are going to be the loneliest person if you do that. There's a time and a place for automation. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for ChatGPT. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't replace your voice. It's a whole nother conversation. You have to be able to put yourself out there. You have to make deposits before withdrawals. And the last thing I want to talk about today is really just giving grace. This is something the Lord has taught me a lot about. A lot of humbling in this area, a lot. Now, the person who showed me the most grace and has really taught me about it is actually my husband. My husband has done that for me since the beginning. I didn't really know what grace was. I just pretty much knew how to spell it, but I didn't give it. I didn't really think I was receiving it. I probably was, didn't even know it. So I was so busy protecting myself because I felt like I had to be this, like I had to have it all together, be this perfect person. Right? Anybody else relate? Anybody else relate? But having grace for when people fail you, for having grace when they fall short, having grace for yourself when you fall short, really having grace is going to be one of the best ways to steward relationships. God gives us grace. He gives us mercy literally every day. We don't deserve it, but we don't have to earn it. He freely gives it. What if we did that to other people? And I'll be honest, y'all, I still need a lot of work in that department. A lot. It is a constant thing that I'm just like, I got to be better at that. Oop, that wasn't good. Oop, let's change that. But because I'm so aware now, I've really been able to work on it in a way where I'm like, okay, we are going to get this no matter how long it takes. And when you have that mentality of no matter how long it takes, you're not going to put God on a timeline for your relationship. You're not going to put yourself on a timeline for your own, when am I going to love myself? You're not going to put loved ones on a timeline of when you do this, then I'll give this. You're not going to do that. Now, we do those things out of self-protection because if it doesn't happen within this timeline, then check, we're out of here. Right? Especially with other connections. Oh, they don't want to do it. Well, I only reached out one time. No, okay. When it comes to business connections, I follow up ad nauseum. Until I'm like, I literally will send them a message and laugh, being like, you're going to have to tell me no because I'm not going anywhere. And they reach out and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so funny. Your follow-up game is on point every time. Or they say, you know what, like you're funny. Thanks for following up, but now it's just not a good time. Great. When's a good time to check back in with you? Like you're showing them that you're not giving up on them until they say, no, not for me. But guess what? They're going to be watching. They're going to be watching. So we need to have grace for people. We get to have grace for people and we get to have it for ourselves. And what would that look like? How would your responses look like? How would your body posture look like? Like all of it, your heart posture, first and foremost. Because when we understand that the creator of this entire universe, the creator of you and I, we were made in his image. We are God's highest form of creation. He constantly gives us grace. What makes us think that we're too good to give it to others? And again, I'm still learning this a lot, getting smacked in the face with it a lot. But I'm not too proud to share. Like, look, I'm learning just like y'all, and I'm sharing what I'm learning because some things are taught, other things are caught. Some things you're like, oh. Some things you're like, oh. Like either way, doesn't matter if it's getting caught or taught, like you are receiving it somehow. And revelation knowledge is massive. And so many of us are not even sharing revelation. So many of us. Because we're like, for whatever reason. The is the whatever reason. You fill in the blank. So anyways, I hope this live today blessed you. I hope you can look at stewarding your relationship with God, self, loved ones, business, relationships. I hope you can steward those in a more grace-filled way moving forward. So I'd love to be able to hear what you're learning. I'd love to be able to hear what stood out to you. If you're watching live, put hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. Thank you for all those that have jumped on live. We will be live again tomorrow. We'll be live at 7 a.m. Pacific for day 8 and excited to see you guys there. All right, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Bye.